Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Plum Wild Podcast. Episode 2. Oh man, glad to be back. How are we doing tonight, Kiefer?
We're doing. It's Wednesday. It's kind of been a slow week for myself.
It's Wednesday, my dudes. It has been kind of a slow week. Not much really to recap, but I think we're still gonna have a good time, especially with our special guest tonight. I mean, if there is really anything to recap, it's NWRA. We ran Monday night. It was a 100 lapper at Lucas Oil, and your race got ended pretty early, didn't it?
2 laps.
Yeah,
That was good.
Well, no, not really. I think you were definitely frustrated with the lack of a caution, but you know, Eddie says, you know, we're iRacing cautions
Irons
only.
and cautions. I was only stopped in 1 and 2 for about 5 seconds.
I guess
I understand how it works.
I wasn't going to
I'm
explain
telling
it.
you.
I wasn't going to explain it to you. It was frustrating. And then you rode around for a little while, and then pulled off to
Ultimately killed myself.
and then pulled off to spot for me.
Got frustrated with Durgan for about 86
Oh,
laps.
Jesus Christ. I don't know if Durgan's watching right now, and I've already gave him shit about it, but he was a good sport. I gave him a lot of shit, but it was all in good fun. He definitely held me up for a lot of that race. I felt like early I was getting held up a little bit by Mason Lobb. Finally was able to get around him. And then Durgan was just like, I don't know. It was tough to pass, and he was in my way until lap 100, bro. He sailed
was
it
just
off.
good enough to where you couldn't pass him.
Yeah.
But he was just bad enough to where like he was in the way.
But I tell you what, though, that track, bro, that was
Wasn't bad for like a slick race.
it was a phenomenal track. Like the lane moved around a lot. Like I think it was still a little bit one lane, but I mean, the level of competition that's in that league, at least up towards the front, like we know, you know, when or where the line's going to change, and then we all just go to it. It's at that kind of level where if there's one lane that's dominant, we're all going to go there. So it was kind of hard to pass. But what was really cool was being able to use the brake. I used the brake every single corner, every single lap. I think the only time I didn't really touch the brake is if I went and tried to sail it off on the high side. But at which Durgan ended up doing that on the last lap.
Lap 100.
It was lap 100, and he did it on lap 99 and got it to stick, and then lap 100 he slipped off.
It's such a fine line where he was at on that ridge. Yeah. Like you have to be perfect whenever it gets that high, because if you hit it, it's really fast. But if you miss it, it's terrible. But like you're more likely to miss it than hit it in that situation. But I kind of get what he was kind of doing, because he did, like, you got under him. So like he had really no choice
other than to sail it off. Yeah, and so that gave me third, and I was just happy to be up there. You know, it was the longest race I've ran on this new build, and it was a very slick track, and so to be able to compete at that level, in a long 100 lapper like that was good confidence boosting, and it was a good point tonight too. I mean, this is a money league. NWRA is, for those that don't know, it's a money league. I can't remember exactly the payout, but I'm sitting third in points. I think Dylan Wilson is leading, Dez is in second, and now I'm in third. So, yeah, I mean, third, you know, pretty excited about that. So that's really all that there is to recap. You didn't race this last weekend, and you're not racing this weekend either, right?
No, we're going camping. I'm actually going on a fishing trip, going trout fishing all weekend.
Wow. You know that's better than what I have planned for this weekend. You know what I have planned for this weekend? Nothing except for Friday night. Hannah is dragging me to a movie that is basically like Taylor Swift's concert, but in a movie theater. So she's dragging me there. And
You're dragging who?
If she was watching right now, she would be like, "Yeah, dragging." She thinks I'm excited to go see that. You know, she was talking like some of these people that are going to be in this movie theater are going to be like standing up and dancing and cheering as if it was a real concert. And I don't really know how I feel about that. That's a little weird.
I no.
That's a little
I
weird
don't
to
know
me.
if I walk out, but like I would like have secondhand embarrassment, I think.
Yeah.
Because like that's just like what? Come on, standing up in a movie theater and dancing to like T Swift, like
you know, back whenever like all the Avengers and like the Marvel stuff was, whenever all the like the Avengers and the Marvel stuff was like really hype, like I went to go see Endgame and like we collectively in the theater kind of cheered at a couple of moments, but like nobody stood up and clapped, like nobody was. Yeah,
I'm usually the first person on the airplane whenever we land. I usually stand up and like start clapping and like cheering everybody on. And
I've never been in a plane. I've never been that high up in the air, man.
I've flown several times. I like flying. But the thing is with flying, if the drive's over 12 hours, then you need to fly. But if it's under 12 hours, you probably just need to drive. Or you just get on the flight sim on iRacing.
The flight sim on iRacing?
Yeah, so then you travel over to the circuit to France or whatever. We go to Spa in Belgium and race F1 cars. And then you can get back in the plane and race Lernerville in PA and like race some sprint cars like 10 minutes later.
You know, I don't think that this is very entertaining. So I think now is a great time to bring on our special guest.
Do you think he's gonna?
He's here. He's
no, I know he's here.
Hauser, you got a copy?
He's just gonna have to turn back on the microphone. Are they all?
Oh, I saw you for a second. There he is.
Wow.
There's the man, the myth, the legend.
We're live, baby.
We are live. How are you doing, Dylan?
Good. How you guys doing?
Pretty good, man. I'm so glad that you decided to come on, dude. It's you were one that like because during the original podcast, the recap, it was like I basically made it exclusively just the pro drivers in the the pro series itself. So I knew that whenever we were going to continue this and it not be exclusive to those guys, like you were one of the guys that I definitely wanted to have on. So I'm glad that you're here.
Yeah, I'm glad too. It was cool. I've done these a couple times, but we'll see.
You went out and bought a camera just for this.
Yeah, I'm over $70.
Which one did you get?
I don't know what it was.
Wow.
Dude,
Some girl. I walk in and I'm like, I need a webcam. He's like, okay, here, this is the great one. I'm like, this one you use? He's like, no. I still brought it anyway.
Oh,
dude, I remember whenever like Pro Series last year, I needed a webcam. I remember setting it up. I ordered it off Amazon, and I was like $30. I'm like, dude, what is going on? Setting this thing up. I couldn't figure it out. They're not that bad though.
I had a cheap one before, and I actually lost it traveling, so I don't even know where it went. But it was like $20.
Yeah, like mine's this big, so like if I moved.
Mine's nice actually.
Yeah, it looks good.
I was how to mount it. Yeah, mine's nice actually.
It looks really good actually. Like most of the guests that we have on here usually like their cameras either they don't have a camera or they're on their phone or they it just doesn't look all that great. But that one looks pretty good. I think the first camera that I had was like one that Hannah, my wife, had gotten just so she could take her online tests, and it was like a cheap one. So thankfully this one.
Yeah, I used to run it off my phone. And I'd get on a Omegle, and it was a shit show, but it was fun.
Oh, wow.
Oh, dude, Omegle's always a great time.
Omegle's a blast.
So
I feel like that's like iRacing side hustles. Omegle.
Yes.
Everyone goes through Omegle phase in iRacing.
Dude, there was one time, I think it was Chase Hardy. We found Chase Hardy one night on there fucking
that
around.
doesn't surprise me at all.
Yes,
because I think every time I've seen him on in a Discord, whatever Discord it is, if it's late at night, that's where he's live and he's.
This was before Chase Hardy was even known in iRacing. He was like a nobody. And I'm on there, and he's like, "Is that Dylan Hauser?" And I'm like, Who the fuck's that?
How do you know me?
Yeah, what the fuck?
Dude, Omegle.
But it was fun.
So you're running the Sprint Car Pro qualifiers right now. I've noticed. I haven't really paid too much attention. How is that going for you right now?
I've been top 5 every week, but I've flipped every week.
So
So I've been running top 5 every. I just don't practice enough, honestly. To go there and run them cars, you got to run them so balls deep, and so out of control to be fast that I can never hang on for 30.
So
that's my thing too. I can like whenever it's tacky too, like they're
Well,
fun in
like,
the mud, but
I
once you
always-
get slick, man, and you still gotta do it like full tilt, not deal.
I always just get up on the wheel a little too hard. Like I always think there's a fender, and I climb the fence. So.
yeah, that right rear gets up there
But then,
instead of the
I
fender.
guess really the last 2 weeks really was I was just innocent bystander. But week 1 I wrecked myself. But last week got clipped, and the week before got clipped. So that's what it is in sprint cars, though. It's like you're either gonna survive, or you're gonna wreck yourself, or you're gonna get wrecked.
So
When you wreck those cars, they bend. So
are you running that now? Like, just so you said you're not practicing a lot. Are you just running it just to run it, or like?
yeah,
I mean,
just to run it. I mean, it's fun. It's whatever.
and
I enjoy it.
I noticed.
I enjoy it. And really, top split's a late model split, so it's not.
That's
that
what I
bad.
saw. It's like mostly
Top
late
split
model
is
guys.
it's all late model guys, so we're all in there. That's why it's fucking crazy though, because
Just fucking around, and you
There's-
got guys that never run sprints.
You have guys like they're in me, like me in there,
Yeah.
who shouldn't be in a sprint car, but we can drive, but shouldn't
Yeah,
be in
but-
a sprint car.
we can all hold them to the wood, but out of control. So we're all out of control. It's
Yes.
all out of control. So
Yeah, that's like the best part about them. Because I
Yeah.
did it. I remember 2 years ago. when they
I
did it.
used to be really good at sprint.
I
Like,
remember that.
I've
You
won
used to
pro
be-
races in sprint cars.
You
Dude,
were
there
a
was one.
demon at
there
you
was
and
one
Hayden Cardwell.
summer- There was one summer in sprint cars. I won like $1,000 in 2 weeks from DSE. They were doing like 200 win races. I won like 4 in a row.
Yeah.
Like, and then I went on to win Charlotte, the grand finale of the Sprint Car Pro, and that was my last ever pro race.
So is it just
we
like
went out on top.
is the passion
Hey.
just not there for sprints? Is that like why you don't put the time in, or is it?
Well, back then it was like it was before all the setup bullshit, so I could focus sprint cars. So we do late model pro, and then I would just drop late models and want to run them. I would run fully sprint cars for the next 6 months and fully focus, dedicate it, and just get to where you got to be at that level. Or now it's like I have to focus on late models still for the setup side of things, and then still do sprint. There's just not enough time in the day to be that guy in both of them.
Yeah, no,
That's why Alex Bergeron used to be able to be really good at late model and sprint car, but he would dedicate that
More
part of
time.
the year. He'd dedicate that part of the year to late models and that part of the year to sprint car. Where now it's designed where if you're gonna run a setup shop, you either gotta pick one.
Yeah.
So
There's really because the sprint car side of things and the late model side of things are so
And
different.
sprint car guys are lazy. Like they don't like testing, but they just get like 4 or 5 good base setups and they'll just go run it.
I
And
feel
late
like
model
they're-
guys, it's like, dude, if you take a month off in this sim and late models, like as a setup guy, a builder, you come back looking for 310s, and it's like, what the freak?
I feel like they're much different worlds now. Like I used to, whenever I first was on the scene, and like I'd look at like that 2020 Pro Series. A lot of the same names were in sprint cars and late model Pro Series, and now they seem like very different worlds. There's only like a handful of guys that are in both, or that are good in both.
Yeah.
So
It's really, if you look back at results from like 2018 Pro Series to today, there's only 3 or probably not even 3 guys that are still doing it at the same level. Like I think me, Bergeron, definitely not late
Edens.
models. Edens is one that's been around for a long time, and he's always stayed at the front.
Yep.
But there's not many guys that have been here since 2018 that have stayed at the top this long. Like
Right.
Evan came around 2020, 2021. Blake was around the 19 to 20, somewhere in there. Like they were never there till recently. Like the guys that are from 2017 till now that stayed top is like James Edens. Dylan Wilson's always been a strong runner.
JD Brown.
There's very few. JD's been decent. Cardwell, anytime he shows up, he's
Yeah,
different
he's
breed.
fast.
Well, speaking-
he's
No,
just one of them animals.
yeah,
Just an animal on the wheel.
I don't understand how he's so good, honestly. But you know, speaking of like the history of it all, there's really like no like Wikipedia article on us drivers and stuff like that. Like unless you've been around sim racing from the get go. Like nobody really knows, you know, all of our history and
No, they
stuff like
don't.
that. So that being said, like, you know, who is Dylan Hauser? Like, when did you start sim racing? Like, what's your
I
racing
started sim
past?
racing 10 years ago. I was a young kid, me and Chase Cabry. So I grew up with the Cabrys, going to a dirt track with Chase Cabry, Cole Cabry, and their older brother Colin raced. And we pit next to each other every weekend, and we all played together. And he posted on Facebook during Chili Bowl, like him racing a micro sprint online. I was like, dude, that's cool as heck. And I was like 13. So then he got me all the shit to get it going. I got set up. That's how I got started sim racing was Chase Cabry.
And when
He
was
got me
this? Like,
going.
what year?
Oh, 10 years ago, so 2013.
So
So
like
I've been doing
you're
this for 10 years. I was young.
long.
I was 13. I was 13 years old, and he was probably 18. He was a little older than me. So I've been doing it for 10 years, but I was never good at R Factor. I was just, dude, I was a shithead. Still am, but back then I was I was out of control.
Oh
Those
yeah, I mean,
cars drove, those cars drove so different compared to this game. Like I was terrible. And then iRacing came out in 2017, and I was, a little older, not much, but got going on it, and I was instantly good right out the gate. Like I was instantly like winning races and just doing all that stuff. So it was nice because I was like, damn, I'm actually not trash, and it's enjoyable. And then so in 2017, 2018, 2019 is like you could be a casual on iRacing and win money and be competitive.
sounds like
And
the good
like
old
20,
days.
like 2020, like dude, go look through the results. There were so many different people in the runnings for wins, and like there's like when you shoot up, there's a VLR league. It ran twice a night on Tuesdays. It was late models and modifieds. 60 cars. All you did was qualify. They took top 60 to another server to race, or top 30. You qualify and run it. And dude, there was like Chad Prescott, Austin Carr. There was so many more guys that can win a race by just jumping on and racing. There was no like, let's test on Tuesday for next Monday's race. So we're gonna test 6 days in a row for Monday. Like those days, like back then, it was like James Eden's won a 1500 to win race on a default setup, open setup. Won it on the IRC
Holy
setup.
shit.
Yeah,
So
1500 to win the Labor Day Classic. That's how it was back then. We didn't
so
need to spend all these laps, but
whenever
it's
we
gone.
had Edens on the podcast, I remember asking him his opinion on like the competition level back then compared to now, and he actually said it was a little more difficult back then
Yeah, it
as
was.
far as like the overall, especially in Pro Series, like the overall level of competition was higher. And he
Yeah.
said now it's a little easier mid pack, but it's still just as hard, if not harder, at the top. Like, you know,
Yeah.
because of guys like Evan and Blake.
Yeah, there's
So
really 4 to 5 top guys, and then everybody else is really close. But back then it was like, dude, I show up and run 20th and be like, showing up next week and win. You know what I mean? That's how it was. There was just so many more winners, and the fields were so more spread out that it was really fun because it was almost like there would be 3 or 4 tenths from first to 15th, and they'd be like, all right, we're close. Now it's like first to 7th is a half a tenth, and then 7th to 16th is a tenth.
right.
So the field was more spread out. It was more easy to get away from people. Like you could slide job somebody and just pull away. There would be no crossover. So it just made it better.
That
But what happened with that was a lot of money got involved. People started practicing. Hey, if I turn, I always tell everybody, if you want to win money on iRacing, you have to outwork the guy next. So if
Yeah.
you out prepare, if I go out there and I circle this race on my calendar, and I out prepare Blake, Evan, or turn more laps than them, test more than them, you have to out prepare these kids. You're not just gonna show up, turn half the laps they do, and beat them. You have to out prepare yourself for them. So anytime that's why these big races are hard to win because everybody prepares.
right.
But if there's like a little 200 to win race, and I sit there and I circle it, I'm gonna like it's 2 weeks out, and I start testing the day silence release, I usually got a pretty good ratio of winning. But if I don't, I got pretty good ratio of running fifth or not finishing. Like it's pretty simple. So
So-
if you want to win money, you have to prepare yourself.
So here's the thing, like saying as for prepare yourself, and a lot of people that do have the extra time, and there's guys that don't. We have a race actually that was just announced today coming up, 4,000 to win. VLR is putting on a $2,000 purse. I saw someone comment in the chat. What if they posted the racetrack and what they
Yeah.
were gonna do 2 hours before the race started? Like, yeah,
It'd be cool.
that's
I'm down. Let's go.
like the only thing you would really have to do in post wise, and I think honestly, I think it could be done, and I think there's gonna people that are gonna be pissed. But like at the end of the day, the cream's
Yeah.
gonna rise.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
In my eyes, cream's gonna rise. So
You're
at the
still
end of the
gonna
day,
see
you're still
Blake
gonna have the
tomorrow.
same guys, not necessarily the same guys all the time.
Most of
but you're
the
still
same
gonna have the
guys.
same top guys up there, and then well, I think it would draw attention
It
to even
would.
the smaller guys and how critical like qualifying would be because you couldn't take a week and just ace
Practice
the qualifying
qualifying.
lap,
Dude, that's
God.
like
and then you
Kokomo.
couldn't take a week and just ace the feature
Feature.
setup. You could you know what I mean? I think it would be fun because I think
Oh,
that's
it would
how, and I think that's like what's different from like what used to be to like what is now. Because I came along in the middle of the way there. I was after the Blake and Evan and there, and you've been here for a long time. But from what I saw, like middle stage to now, middle stage we grinded, but not near as much we did then. And then like what you guys talked about, you got on there now. I think it would just draw on that extra factor, kind of like what we used to do, and like not really have a big idea. And everyone's gonna have we have base sets. We know what we're gonna run,
Right.
and you have ideas what's gonna work here, what's gonna work there. If you've been on the game enough and been around it long enough, you're gonna figure it out
But
building
if you're
wise.
if you're paying $70 to go run a race, you should be prepared for whatever they throw at you. Like
No matter what. And
if-
you're racing. It's kind of like it's not the Pro Series because like the Pro Series is a big deal, but the VLR races are
tougher.
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 Yes, because you have
You got
everyone.
60 guys that might hit a good lap in front of you.
Yes,
In Pro Series, you got 35 guys.
that are good, but
They're
there's
good.
30. There's
Everybody
35.
gets that. They say like every fighter has a punch and shot. That's how it is in qualifying those races. Everybody can go out there and hit it good.
Hey,
If they do it.
I did it. I did it twice in Pro Series this year. Come on.
If we could qualify up like for the last 5 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever, we qualified like not like that itself is like winning to me because like if you can qualify, that's
Yeah,
it.
everything. That's the thing.
Your night's gonna be great. If you could qualify in the top 10 of any race, your night's gonna be smooth, or like top
Well,
8.
I've
I
been
would say
lucky.
would be.
I've been lucky. So any of them big races, but it's all about preparation. I've ran so many laps on that one single line. For the last 3 years, I think I qualified pole every year for the spring fling in my server. That's
Yeah.
pretty hard to do. Like to go out
Yeah.
there and each year in a row and run pole, but I perfect that line till you can't perfect it no more, and that's what it takes. It's not even sometimes it's not even about dialing a setup in. It's about dialing yourself in to run that line at Kokomo to barely clip the tire. Like
Fuck, I sucked there. I sucked
Yeah.
Dude, that's me. I have grinded. That's like the one line on iRacing that I can say that no one can truly hit. I feel like that is my cup. Like on the bottom at Fairbury, in a natural state, I am an animal. And I run the most ridiculous line.
Dude, the first
and
time I
it's-
saw it, I was like, there ain't no fucking
and
way.
it pisses Nathan off.
Oh,
But
it
it's like
pisses me off
It's
so
like
bad.
2 to 3 tenths faster, but it's so hard to hit.
Yeah.
But it's not set up because we have the same
oh,
setup.
yeah, no.
And it's just it's just a little tweak on entry that like at Kokomo where Kokomo is like a big difference on like timing,
Right.
just
no,
like
for
where you
sure.
turn in and how you turn in and everything. That's a big timing place, and a lot of tracks are like that. But there you notice it a lot time wise, and just, it's funny
Yeah.
you bring it up. But like Nate, I just remember
love
Nathan
Kokomo.
and the other guys that were on the team whenever race at Kokomo. They're like, dude, how the fuck do you do this? And I'm like, because you're
Kokomo's
constantly
fun.
sideways, going forward. But like,
That's
yeah,
why
it-
I've always
and
been
what do
good
you hit-
Kokomo because of the wall. I've always just put
Yeah.
it up against
See,
it. But I
I
love
used
running
to
the
be
bottom there,
so
though.
good
I
at running
love
the
running
wall.
the bottom.
See, I mean, I ran third in the fling, the prelim night on the bottom. I
Yeah, I
started,
remember. Yeah.
I started deep, and in the fling, I got up. I was up there with, I wasn't with you, but I was in the group, and I just got caught up. But you're on.
That's how the fling is, though.
Hey,
You get
and
caught
me
up
and you,
quick.
I'll be honest, me and you have had some battles at Kokomo. Not even gonna
Kokomo's
lie.
a blast, though. Like, dude,
Love
I
Kokomo.
tore some shit up Kokomo, but
There was
Kokomo's
a few
fun because
times.
you
there's
could throw a
few
slide
times.
job from turn 4 to turn 1 at Kokomo.
Yeah,
That's how
and there's a few times
fire
you
it
come out of well, you would slide me in one, you would come out of 4 and slide me one, like you're saying, and come out of 2, and I'm like this motherfucker, and you get it up there, and I'd have to cut down off of 2 is so tough there, and then you're charging as hard as you can into 3 and 4, then you both shove, you're beating off the corner, then you're both slide. It's great. That's like one of the best tracks.
But-
Everyone
and it
hates it, but it's the raciest racetrack because
Yeah, it
it's
was-
so difficult.
Yeah.
It was so underrated for a long, long time. And then
And I think-
people started racing on it, but everybody would just go on there when it was full blown tacking and be like, this place is a shithole.
Right.
And then
Yeah,
once
'cause you
it
just
wears in,
pound
it's
the
fun.
wall.
Once it's wore in, it's really fun, but everybody would never give it a chance. Even the league people, they'd be like, "We're not coming here," and then it actually, I don't know who got it going.
Granted, do I think the middle should come in? Yes,
Yeah.
but if the middle came in, the track would be boring because I think it would just be crumbs, and you'd follow it up all the way.
To be fair,
Evan ran the middle for a while.
To be fair, I think the majority of the people that don't like Kokomo are the people that run like fixed setup shit, and like in the fixed setup stuff, like most of it doesn't work anywhere but like one line, like whether it's fixed pros or fixed supers, like it's just that fixed up. Like I understand, and also like majority of the people just can't run it because it is a difficult track, which is what makes it fun. It's a difficult track.
No, I love Kokomo.
I love. Kokomo a lot.
I like Fairbury too. Fairbury's fun.
I wish they'd move the tires back out at both tracks.
I wish the bottom at Fairbury was just like I wish the hump was gone.
I went to Fairbury. I went to Fairbury this summer, and dude, that place is so wide in real life compared to this sim. It's not even funny. Like, dude.
Yeah, I've raced there.
You could throw like you could throw 6 late models across the front stretch. And iRacing, don't think about going 3 wide. Do not think about 3 wide.
Whenever I race there, that's the first thing I noticed. Now, Jordan Casey says he hates Kokomo and never wants to go back. Oh, that's funny. But whenever I was at Fairbury racing last year, I went up there in my modified, and the cushion drive's the same, but like. The bottom, the bottom to the top is probably like in the center of the corner is for a modified easily 5 wide.
Like when I was down on the bottom,
it's crazy how wide that place is.
In iRacing, you can look out your right side and see the wall. In IRL, you're not looking at the wall. You're not gonna see it. It's so far up. Yeah. You're not seeing it. You're gonna be like, "Where the fuck's it at?"
It's just dirt that you're seeing.
It's very wide. It's kind of like Farmer City. If you watch Farmer City like online.
Yeah,
and
I've been there. That's a badass place.
It is fun. That's a fun place to race on. And
that was the best track in R Factor. The best track in R Factor.
I raced there earlier this year. I love that place. You get on the lip there in 1 and 2, and then rip the cushion 3 and 4.
Those cushions are so much better.
That would be a good track. That'd be a good track to put on iRacing because you have the wall on one side and then no wall on the other.
Yeah, I could send sweeping back corner. I could send people off the back for sure.
You can kind of like wheel people into the opening in 3.
Oh, that was what happened in R Factor all the time.
Yeah,
you'd see a car go fucking flying. But yeah.
So
somebody wants the drama.
So you
there's no drama.
You obviously were caught up in a good amount of drama in the fling.
I'm always in some shit.
Yeah, you are. That's actually. I have 2 questions about that. We'll start just because of the drama. You have been in your fair share of controversy. Do you try to lean into it a little bit, like try to stir it up a little bit because you know that like there's no such thing as bad press, like it's just good exposure. The drama is good exposure, or is it just it just happens?
I just really don't give a fuck most of the time. I think that's what it boils down to. So when these kids get on here and like they get on so everybody asks me every time why am I in Pro Series. I'm just gonna let y'all can clip this. So I'm not in Pro Series because
this was one of my questions, so I'm glad that I didn't even have to ask it. I didn't even have to ask it. Here we go.
So in 2019, I was 3rd in points. It was Cardwell, Bergeron, me. We're all real close. Bergeron, we should pull the video. Bergeron comes across my nose, spins him into the outside wall at Knoxville, wrecks him. It kills like his championship run. So somebody, I don't know who, made fake screenshots of me in Discord saying I intentionally did it. Congrats with the win, Cardwell, on the championship.
Because y'all were teammates.
So they thought it was like teammates looking out for each other. So iRacing emailed and said, "Hey Dylan, let's have you sit out the final race of the season and see you next year." So my dumbass types back and says, "No, fuck that. Let's see each other at Charlotte and fuck you." And so that's why I'm banned.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, "You're banned because no, I'm banned because of my own dumb decision in an email." They got me banned.
So
that's what happened.
Okay.
I didn't get banned because I junked him or anything like that. But I was more pissed off about they believed the fake screenshots that someone doctored up that was never true. And you can ask Edens, we're all teammates. Me, Edens, we're not Bergeron. Me, Edens, Cardwell, we're all teammates. And they tried to get the whole team banned. So they had these fake Discord screenshots, and it was just like, that's petty. Like,
yeah. So I remember. I've heard the story, and then Nathan sent me like a questions list before, like just a few things to ask if I needed it, and to prepare us. And that was one of the questions. I was like, dude, don't ask him this. I'm like, everybody knows this.
But I feel like not everybody knows it.
Oh, I still get asked this every day on here.
But
every pro race on Monday night, I would get a fucking text. Where you at? Why aren't you racing tonight?
Right.
And it's like, dude, I ain't ran since week 2019.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not racing it. And this is actually the only reason I was running Sprint Car Pro because I'm actually allowed to run it. So I was like,
yeah,
maybe we'll try to make it. We'll be the first year back in pro, and we'll see where it takes us. You know what I mean?
So you have been confirmed that you can now be back in. So the ban, was it like specified how long the ban was, or did you just kind of have to keep waiting?
At their discretion, pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, I've done so long clear now that my last email was like, just go clear for a few more longer, and you'll be good to go. Yeah. I haven't been banned in years on here. Years.
Well, so, that's good.
I've been voice banned, but I used to get banned for straight lining people. Like, you fucking wrecked me, I'm coming back out.
Well, I think we all know that, Dylan. No, I'm just fucking with you.
Yeah. But that's the difference. Like, I've done it in money races. I've done it all, like the last 2 years. I've really calmed down on this shit because I just don't care. Like,
yeah,
I don't care anymore. But no, I enjoy racing Pro Series. I made a lot of money racing Pro Series. Yeah. What people don't know is I've won fucking $7,000 in Pro Series, and every year you get banned, you don't get paid. So between the 2 years, I was in it in 20.
I didn't know that.
So if you get removed from pro, you don't get paid. The 1 year I ran 4th in points, and the other year I ran, I think, 6th and got removed, and I didn't get paid for either season because I got removed. So if you get removed, you don't get paid. So I won a lot of money in pro and never got paid. So I feel like I've took the fucking heat. I feel like I've took the punishment. Because you run a lot of laps. I mean, I dedicate a lot of time to run that Pro Series. Yeah. So and then I was really upset when I've never done no shit like MNC did at Fairbury with Kendall Tucker. I've never straight lined nobody in a pro race. I've never, or Volusia, wherever it was. Volusia. And he goes out there and does that. And I'm thinking, oh, me and him.
Right. Now we buddies.
Top guys not allowed? Fuck.
Now we got some common ground.
At least I'm not in this alone.
Right.
They're like, you know what, kid? We'll let you slide. And I'm like, whatever. Yeah. But
so
I don't think he should have been banned either. I don't think because you rough somebody. And Kendall Tucker was my guy at that time. I was telling him, I'm spotting him. I'm like, dude, you better lead off his door. He's gonna fucking kill you. And he's cranking on him, and I'm like, then he flipped him.
So you
I remember that was just great.
That was great.
You're a setup shop owner. You know, House of Speed. I'm actually kind of surprised that you haven't plugged it yet. But
wow.
Yeah, I honestly. So the last 2 months.
Quick chat.
The last 2 months, I've been pretty much living crazy, traveling, having fun, doing whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm probably this fucking close to releasing every setup on my website for free.
Wow.
Just to piss, because like Tanner Tomasi and Blake Majulis, they all got these big fucking mouths. And like, if I release this shit for free, it fucks their little fucking money up. And I don't need the money. I got fucking race cars all around this garage. Like, I got money. I don't need this 500 a week, whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
So don't piss me off. This is your warning. Do not piss me off. Because I got fast shit on my website, and it'll be fucking over for everybody. You know what I'm saying? So
I am curious, though.
I mean, that's how I feel. So if I release everything for free, what's everybody do? Are you going to spend $25 at Majulis C?
I mean, I wouldn't. If I was a customer, I would. I'm going to get the free shit.
Dude, I know exactly where Logan Rumsey's going.
Yeah, I mean, I promise you, dude. And
I'll post them on iRacing Dirt Talk for you.
That's fine. But
JD will.
Dude, that's a little storage object for Rumsey.
Probably a year ago, I used iRacing as a form of income as I worked real life and did racing and traveled around the world, did all that stuff. But nowadays, I'm not even on here enough to make it make sense. To even, it just doesn't even make sense to try to make it a full-time gig. Because if you're gonna do the setup shop stuff, you either got to have a decent job where you start at 11 a.m. and get off at 4, or you got to be on here or you got to do a job at 8 a.m. till 5, and then get on from 5 to 12 at night, and you'll kill yourself.
So
that's what happened with me. So
you say you're this close, right? And I'm just curious. I mean, you that could be an exaggeration.
I'll give the free promo code right now for the whole site. Don't give a fuck.
But But I'm just curious: does that have anything to do with the fact that you've lost a good amount of drivers in the past couple of months with Chase Barbara leaving and JC Floyd and all those guys? Like, does that have anything to do with it? And also, how do you feel about all of that with them leaving?
So here's the deal. So for the longest time, from 2017 to 2020, I was my own dude. I didn't have no teammates. Besides with Slick, when I had Hayden and those guys, I was solo dolo. I never had teammates. I was always real insecure about setups. You're not getting my fucking setup. I don't care who you are. And I focused on truly winning races. That was my main goal, was to win every race I entered. I didn't care about
making money off of that.
I was focused on winning races and beating those kids. And then the setup. So how it all got started was World of Outlaws called me, and they're like, it was during the TV deal, during Corona.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, hey, we got it was Jeff Gordon, Juan Pablo Montoya, and Austin Dillon. They called me. Oh, and Brad Sweet. They're like, hey, can you come train these guys for us? So I'm like, sure. So these fuckers, they write me a check for $2,700 for a week to train these guys. So I had like Jeff Gordon, Juan Pablo Montoya, Austin Dillon, and Brad Sweet in my Discord. And I'm like, and Zach Leonardi was with me, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this don't even seem real. And they're paying us fucking stupid money. So they pay us $2,700 for 1 week. So me and Zach are loving it. Like, so we worked with these guys for a long time. And I'm like, dude, there's actually probably a market for this if we actually did it for real. And then we did it for real, and that's when I started House to speed up. And I don't know that. Then I never had a shit ton of drivers. I've never had a shit ton of drivers till I brought JC Floyd on, and then he kind of brought his friends over.
Right.
And it was honestly it was a great deal, and we honestly had a lot of fun with it while I was there. And then eventually, listen, girls come and go, people come and go, jobs come and go. This is what it is, people. It's what we live in. Not everything's forever, and I'm not mad at nobody. Like,
that's good to hear.
The grass is. If I'm not, I don't like. I'm not gonna let it ruin my friendship with Chase or nobody. Yeah. At the end of the day, if you think the grass is greener, I'm not gonna hold the money hostage. Go take that jump and go. When I told JC go, I knew what was coming with that. It was coming with all his buddies. You know what I'm saying? I knew what that was. But
you
at
knew
the end of the day,
I didn't. Happen.
Yeah, I knew it was. I didn't need. I've been doing this since 2017 by myself. I don't need nobody to build me a setup. I got there and build my own setup and win races. I mean, I haven't been doing this long at the level I have this long with someone else's setups because it wouldn't be possible. So I'm not mad at nobody. Nothing really even bad went down. Really, it was just that they wanted to see something different, and I'm glad they're over there.
So that was kind of like like even like whenever we closed doors at Apex theirs, and like it's just sometimes like the big team thing, and it's just sometimes it just becomes too much, and it's a lot to handle,
and there's a lot of headaches, and it's not like it's their fault. It's not your fault. It's just it is what it is, and
it comes with the
sometimes it's just not worth it. Like sometimes you gotta have your breakups.
The big team shit is the biggest problem. So having a big team is great if you're trying to sell setups. It really is, because you're gonna have if there's a dude in the server looking to buy a setup and there's 17 House of Speed cars, he's like, those are the fucking guys. Same in real life. If you see 17 Longhorns and you got an XR1, you're going to buy a Longhorn. So, but here's where the problem comes: is if Joe Blow Ho straight lines the other guy and he has the House B logo, now I get a text. So when I had all those fucking guys, I'm gonna get dude, you have no idea how many texts I would get.
Dude, this shit happened with Bryce Siganik, whatever his name is, whenever all that shit was going on the big block side, and he vowed to straight line every single Apex guy because of what one person did. And I was this innocent bystander. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense at all. But you're right. It does just come with the territory. Like, it's part of it.
Yeah, so that's the only problem with it. But if you're in it to sell setups, it's fine. Back then I was in it to sell setups. Nowadays I'm here to honestly just have a good time. I'm still gonna go run the big races, the spring fling, and if I'm back in Pro Series, I'll run that and grind it out for the 2 months. That's it. But what I don't understand is, in real life, when an XR1 guy junks a Longhorn, they call Mark Richards and be like, "Hey, your dude with your XR1 junked me this." No, they don't. So why would you text me? Like that's what I try to. Why would you text about him? Because he runs my logo doesn't mean I don't give nobody setups. First off, nobody. So if he junked you, it's not my problem. I'm gonna text him about, hey, let's not do this, but
it's a representation thing. I think it's like you're representing
A brand.
Like, right.
Sure.
I think that's where
And
it all comes from. They want someone to yell
honestly,
at.
I don't encourage it. But we've all done dumb shit on here. I've seen everybody do dumb shit.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody's a saint. Nobody's a saint.
Everyone's done dumb shit.
Yeah,
There is not a
nobody's a
single person. Besides Nathan. Nathan's a pansy. He
No,
doesn't do
listen.
bullshit.
You know what? I think this is actually a really good time to hash something out because I know that you, Dylan, and Kiefer have had a couple of run-ins, and one that I'd like to see y'all hash out was a money race at Cedar Lake over a year ago where
This was a
Kiefer.
long time ago.
Yeah, Kiefer.
Short slid me.
Yeah, it was in 3 and 4. I remember I was in that race, and there was
I think
definitely a lot of
that
heated.
track was out.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think it was that long ago. It was
a new build or something. It was a new build or something.
It was
We were all just learning it.
something a lot like that. I'd like to see y'all, kiss and make up here,
We've been
I
made
don't even
up.
remember what happened.
See,
Fucking short slid me for third place on lap 75.
he still remembers.
Did I?
How I can already tell. I can already tell.
To get even.
I
still
can-
waiting to get even.
I don't even remember. Wait, Cedar Lake.
It was a money
Yeah, it
race.
was like
Dylan Wilson
it was a
ended
Drew
up
Hopkins
winning.
race.
I think Dylan
Dude, that was the
Wilson ended up
craziest race
winning
ever.
because Evan was leading
It
and
was
Evan blinked
75
out.
laps.
Yeah, 75 lapper.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
Didn't
All I was doing,
So 1 and 2, lap 2.
yeah, all I was doing was waiting for the track to lock down. I was just cruising around the cushion.
Yep.
I knew it was gonna lock down. I'm like, we're gonna ride here till it locks down. Then
And-
here came this fucking green car across the street and ran with the right front.
Y'all got together coming out of 2 or something along those lines, and it made Kiefer all out of whack. I know it sounds like I'm defending Kiefer here, but he got all out of whack, and then he decided to slide the shit out of you from way back.
It sounded like a Calavoda replay.
Yeah, it was. Y'all were heated.
Yeah, I was heated. Dude, I turned laps all. That's what I'm saying. You prepare for these races. So I forget who all was with me at the time. We turned laps all day and then just go get it.
Well,
folded
that's
up on
like
mine.
so like the NWRA thing the other day.
And I went straight to the fucking bar after the race.
You know what I did? I got money.
Yeah, literally.
No,
That's
no,
my problem. So nowadays, when I have a bad night on iRacing, I go straight to the bar. Like,
Straight to
shots.
the bar.
So, like,
But I mean, there's been situations like roles of reverse for us plenty of times. Either way, many times we've
I
had,
break people and people break me. Part of it.
and I do remember this now. I did kind of scumbag. I didn't scumbag.
I specifically wanted to bring it up because I remembered it whenever.
It was just early in the race.
I think
that's
it
all.
was something along those lines, but
I think it was like one of the first starts, and I was just trying to get ahead before.
you were in second.
Oh.
You knew it was gonna lock down though, so like that's kind of why.
Yeah. That's the thing. Everybody jumps around. That's what was fun about. I guess it was the tire wear. The tire wear was fun while we had it, but now it's not fun because they got rid of tire wear. So now there's
Just
no tire
about.
wear.
I mean,
Yeah,
there is, but it doesn't. You don't really feel it.
A 40-lap race, you don't even save.
I don't save at all.
But they just need to tone it
inside
down
secret
some.
there.
They turned it down way too much.
I think
they should have just toned it down some.
But I didn't want to bring that up because I don't want them to. I don't want to have another level to have to think about of having to conserve tire.
I think they'll update it because there's gonna be 2 more probably updates on this build for at least this year, I'd say, and I think they will because they went to one extreme to the other.
Yeah.
Not
They'll probably get it
100%,
right.
but we did. But I think they will get it right. It's just. It's so hard because the way we were the tires we're wearing was just kind of like a time
Ridiculous.
thing.
It was retarded.
It wasn't related to what you were doing. It was related to what.
Yeah, even what you
was
changed on
weird.
the setup didn't affect the tire, which is so wrong. But
yeah.
even so in a late model tire, the fastest that tire should be is 60. When it's at 60%, when you got 60% left on your blocks, it's when the fastest it should be. It's right in the good shit.
Yeah.
Where on that thing there was the tire was fast when it had nipples on it, and then it just died at 60. It was 7/10 off, and that's not how it should work. So I don't know who the hell they got testing up there, but he's high as fuck. Get him out the booth and let's get some new people in there. But
I got
the tire wear was fun. I mean, I had a lot of fun with it.
I got a question that
It made it tougher. It put a new aspect into it.
Hey, they all said when tire wear comes out, Hauser won't be shit. He's a throttle smashing, fence pounding SOB.
I gotta be honest. I have heard that. I have heard that.
That's what
But
they all
that
said.
that kind of pissed me off. They
To
said
be
that about
fair,
a lot of
last build,
people.
You couldn't do that.
They said that about a lot of people. You know that? They said that about all the real life racers that I know, and even some of my teammates. they say, oh, whenever tire comes out, watch this, like all these top guys are gonna suck, and watch all the real life racers are gonna be good. And I'm like, don't you think that we'll be able to adapt? Like, don't you think Evan and Blake and Hauser and Tomasi and like all these top Dylan Wilson, all these guys are gonna be able to adapt? It's not gonna
adapt for sure.
like it's not like
Listen,
you're gonna all of a sudden be good.
I played this game too much not to be good at it. I played it too much not to be good at it. So if you don't think I'm gonna figure it out like I figured out everything else, you're crazy.
Yeah.
That's kind of like how we are. Like, we don't like me, Bogus.
Listen,
we're not out here winning championships by any means. We're out here having fun, and we can compete, and that's all I'm here for. You guys, well, first of all, most people expected, so it's harder. So you have to win almost, like, and you have to be up front.
Most people don't understand how hard it is to run at this level. Most people don't.
Oh, they don't. We try to.
They don't have a clue.
So what's crazy is, like, at our level, like what I try to like tell people and then get them to understand about like the Pro Series and like the fling. I tell people, I said you have to be within the own 10th bracket for 100 laps. Yeah, if you want to be up front, this is not you winning the race. No. If you want to be in the top 10. Yes, the track's gonna fall off. Great. Yes, everyone gets that. But you need if the track stays the same, you need to be able to hit the same line or different lines, but within a 10th every lap for 100 laps. And people don't like that's hard. Like in order to be up front and to compete at that level.
And like even when you're testing for a big race, if you could just be 100th a lap better than Evan or Blake, you're gonna be fine because as long as you can consistently make the gap go like this, you're gonna be all right. As long as you consistently do it, it's hard to do.
And that's
if you can do it,
we're doing it, and like how close to the wall, and like how perfect it, like our wheel, like
even knowing when to move up when it's faster. Like even to know when to go. That could be like a second throughout a race, just off by knowing when to go. Like if I move up to the top and it's 2/10, and he moves up the lap behind me, it's like all right. So now you put 2/10 on the one lap.
Right.
So if you
just
could do
because
that,
you had that idea before.
That's why Knoxville's this week officials is fun because it moves around so much where you don't even have to really outset. You could just outmaneuver somebody and beat them. But as long as you know, like I ran this game so much where I got a good idea on where it's going before the guy in front of me does. So I can position myself to pass them before without even really having to do anything.
And that's what like last build, for instance. We'll go back to last build for a second. Just because I can have a good.
Hey, hold on, who the fuck is this THJNBNK? Get this motherfucker on the pod. Show his webcam.
I don't know who it is.
So like he's fucking bad shit. He's fucking bad.
I've seen it. He's
fucking bad.
We'll let him keep talking. He ain't on here for a reason.
To the old build. Whenever we're like, say at Knoxville, for instance, and you're running the cushion, and it's late in like an official or a league race. It's late in official. And I would start catching you running slider behind you. But if I could have protected that line, or like whenever it came to that line, it's just like that 2/10 a lap. If I would have saved it and just been like half a tenth a lap faster and slowly did it and not been noticeable, that's like the biggest things. And that's like what's crazy. And like how like at our level, we can do that and manipulate that. And I can tell you what the line is and not run the line and still be like catch you running your line if your car is good enough, granted. But like that's what's at our level, like you have to be able to do that. Even and you have to be able to like, and it's like not like some of the lines that we're talking about is just like a tire width, a difference, like on entry. Like that's the only difference is just like this much. And
I tell everybody we're about to qualify, and they're like, "This is the fucking heater." I'm like, "Dude, you better lock the fucking brakes up at the flag stand. Do not show them a fucking 13.0 when they're in 13.2s before qualifying."
Yeah, and that's what I do. I always lock them up.
One team guy sees it, and they tell 13 other motherfuckers. And now it's the whole server. Now the whole server's running that line, and now we're all within 100.
Listen,
and that's why I feel bad whenever like.
We were running, I was running NWRA Monday night, and I'm streaming, and Kiefer and Colin are in there with me, and they're running as well, and they're like, I'm muted so we could talk about the qualifying line, and then I'm like, well, it's pointless because I'm gonna go out there, and if somebody's watching, they're gonna see what line I run, so it's fucking pointless.
Right? Yeah.
But in my eyes, anybody who's gonna out qualify me based on just purely on pace, they probably already know what the line is. Like they already know that. I would have to do something drastically different and luck into that being somehow the one line that no one would expect.
Devin Morgan, that kid could find a fucking line. He reminds me a lot of Hayden Cardwell. He could find a line.
He knows the lines as well.
And he's very good for the The time he spends on the sim to
Oh,
run
God,
to
it's
level he does
unreal.
is very good.
Same
He's
with
smart
Hayden.
as fuck on his setup. He's smart as fuck on his setup.
That
That's
actually-
between Hayden Cardwell and Devin Morgan.
That actually brings me into a really good question that I wanted to ask. It's kind of a group question. It's nothing bad. It's so there's the last Pro Series 2023 late model Pro Series. There's all sorts of guys that go for it and some guys that don't. So a lot of I get asked this a lot, like who I think is the best driver that's not in Pro Series, right? And it's kind of fitting that you're here, Dylan, because that would be a lot of people's answers, that Dylan Hauser is one of the best guys, but he's not in Pro Series, right? So I would like for each of us to give our answer on who we think is the best driver that's not in Pro Series or was not in the 2023 Pro Series. And I'll let you start, Dylan.
Without a doubt, Devin Morgan. Without a doubt.
Without a doubt, huh?
Yeah, that's my answer as well.
He's pretty sharp. Like he's not just a driver; he's a good setup guy too. Like
Yeah, he's very knowledgeable and he knows what he's doing.
But he's been playing iRacing for 10 years, so he knows how all this shit works.
Yeah.
To
Once
build
you
a good
understand
setup
the
of
simple-
iRacing, you got to understand the way the sim thinks. You can't
Yeah.
just go out there and it's not like real. You got to understand the way the game is gonna change the J bar, not how the cars
Yes.
are.
Are
That's how
there
you
some things that are similar? Yes. And
For sure,
I've
for
found
sure.
that with me racing, like my real car, and I've had success now, and I've been able to compare the notes. And like, there are some simulators that are pretty close. Like, that's crazy to think about.
Yeah,
But
I've been
there-
on
but
some
the-
real
the-
NASCAR simulators, and they're very fucking good.
But like at the end of the day, you got to know like what you're working with, and like so the biggest thing to me, the only thing that changed from last build to this build, for me to adapt, besides finding a new balance, of course, which changed because we were allowed an inch more deck height. And then they added wheel spacings. That was the only. And I've worked. We worked with wheel spacings before, and
I was one of
that
the
was the
first
only
guys
new
to find the
adaptations
deck
for
height.
this.
So I was one of the first guys to find the deck height to run it way up. We ran
On
the
the-
spring fling for Charlotte, like 2018.
Yeah.
And everybody ran it like 32, like 38.2, and then me and Hayden put it all the way up in the slick, and it was like 3/10. And fucking Majulis, and they're all like texting us, "What the fuck are y'all doing?" We're like, "Nothing."
Nothing,
Like,
dude. Just better.
So we were fucking flying that week. We were
Yeah.
Hayden ended up winning it. Hayden's the only dude I know that I could send a setup, and then he fucking beat me with it. Not just fucking beat me. I'm talking fucking shove
Yeah.
me in the dirt. So I was like,
So Dylan, your answer is Devin Morgan. Kiefer, did you say your answer is Devin Morgan? Can we name three different people? Because I was gonna say Devin Morgan
Okay.
too.
no,
So
I
like,
don't know
let's
if there's
name three.
I don't know if there's any other good guys. Who were in pro. I mean,
There's-
Devin Morgan, Dylan Wilson's already in pro.
Right.
That's not in pro.
Look at some stats.
I mean, so if you want to go off,
I mean, I could tell you one guy that shouldn't be in pro.
Oh
Yeah,
boy.
No, I'm
There's
joking,
a
I'm
there's a
joking.
lot.
I could tell you
that
if
five car, with the Apex 5 car, he definitely didn't
car,
deserve to
yeah.
be in there.
I don't
So
know.
so if you want three different people, here's your second person, Hauser. Beside because he hasn't been able to be in there, he would be one of the people
Right.
that should be in there.
Cruz Cadell should be there, but he's not.
He didn't run enough. I don't know why the fuck he didn't run enough races
if
last year, and he couldn't even qualify this year.
He would have to.
He doesn't race enough.
You got to put more time in at that level, and it's just what it is. Nathan, you. Have
I'm surprised.
another one. You have to,
I'm surprised that you.
Oh, hang on. There's actually hold on. If we're talking about right now, who should be in pro?
Yeah, like based off of like
Right now,
the field that was in the last late model Pro
I'll
Series.
put Lucas Rourke up against the top 10 in pro. Lucas Rourke goes pro. He's top 10. No, I don't even like the fucking little geek ass kid, but he's fucking fast.
I met him.
He's
I met him
fast.
at Talladega Short Track, and he is a little scrawny little dude. I don't know if he was taller than me. He was on his pit bike, but
he's fast. And
he's very fast. He's very fast.
Yeah,
I'm
he's
surprised.
fast.
There's one
He's
name
a
that
real-
y'all
he's a
haven't
real
said
football.
that surprises me.
I
You're
forgot
all
about
around
these
him.
little kids.
You're all around him. It's Hayden Carwell. He wasn't in the 2023 Pro Series.
Oh yeah, Hayden. Yeah,
You're
Hayden's
all
definitely-
around it,
but-
and he was
yeah,
definitely.
Hayden Carwell for sure.
I think.
Well, I'm so shocked he's not in it, but
Well, he would have if he would have ran all the races in 2022. He would have either requalified or been able to try to qualify. But I just don't think
That's
he
the
cares
thing.
enough. He just doesn't care.
all the
enough.
top guys that have been doing so Hayden been doing this since 2018. We're all so burnt out, and
Yeah.
it's like even me, I don't even really like the last 3 weeks I've probably been on a lot, but before that, dude, I was on like every other day for an hour. Get the
Yeah, I
fuck outta
noticed
here.
that. Where what is?
It's tough. It's just tough, and I've been working a lot, so it's just tough. But
I feel
we're-
you.
it's getting cold. It's getting cold.
It's getting
Coming
cold.
inside, it's gonna be fun. So I'll be on this winter. Then
yeah, that's kind of like my thing. I think I don't know if I'll be on a lot because I've just kind of like stepped away from things, and
He
I
keeps
kinda got,
talking
like,
retirement. I don't believe it.
retirement, dude. I honestly, well, here's what's gonna happen. If I quit, it's gonna go for free, and then when there's an update, it'll just be useless, and I'll be out of here.
And then
Yeah,
you'll be
so,
out of.
I'm not gonna jump on and update it and do it. No, but
Yeah.
So
I've sold. Here's a fact that you can fact check. Tyler Bower runs all these fucking websites, all of them.
right.
Ask him who sold the most setup. Just ask him.
I'll get on that right after the podcast.
And here's another thing I don't get, and I hope Blake and Evan are listening, and I love Chris Ferguson. But you fucking dumbasses, why would you partner with anybody and go 33%, 33%, 33% when you can have it all? Have your own website and have it all.
That is a good question.
They're gonna buy it. They're gonna buy it. Like
That is a good question.
whether he's like, I don't understand the business logic there, and I've always been like, cut the middleman out type shit. But I never understood that stuff. I would always try to. And maybe they enjoy being together. Who the fuck knows? Maybe they kiss. I don't know.
wow.
Okay, all right.
Oh,
Listen, I got a question that it's another group question.
Hey, that was what was nice about Apex. That was like the best thing about me. I just made like whatever I sold, I made.
Yeah, that's how it should be though. It's your work. Fuck.
Yeah, like it's
That's
so,
how. Before I was a Ryko 1 week or like I don't know, a half a season.
Yeah.
And I was making good money. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? These guys are actually buying this shit. So I really did not think it was a thing. Like people buy setups. The fuck? You already pay $15 a month. You're gonna go spend fucking that much money a month on setups? Like that doesn't even seem logical. And then, dude, I was like, this is actually something cool. So then I spent like $800 on a website, and then got the website built, and history ever since.
Yeah.
So
no, it's pretty. And that's what's like.
But when I was a young kid, when I was like 19, 18, it was nice because I had extra money.
that's
like,
extra cash in your pocket.
Because at the time I was working for Bobby Pierce, so I was making $850 a week, and doing that. So I was making decent money, and I was like, damn, this is actually nice. I can do the setups Monday to Wednesday. We usually leave Thursday, go racing, be back Sunday, and it was nice. And then eventually, times got together and caught up, and before I knew it, I was never on.
Yeah.
And I came. I took about a year off and came back.
I remember
took
that.
About 3 months off, and I came back. So
Yeah.
So
yeah, it was a peaceful year. No.
I'm sure. No, right when actually I
fuck.
didn't take a year off. They banned me for a year with that email. I didn't take a year off. They banned me for a year.
the truth finally comes out. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, everybody knew. Fuck, dude. I was in Discord when I typed that email out, and there's like, I don't know, it's like me, JD, Edens, Cardwell, Berkeley, and I'm typing this email out, and I'm live. Cause we're all reading together, and Joel's like, "No, I'm gonna get the screenshot together and explain to them how it's fake." And I'm like,
And you're just too
"I
fired
got this,
up.
motherfucker, by the balls. Fuck this." And I sent it. I was
Oh.
like, so after I sent it, I'm like,
Googling how to unsend an email.
I'm googling how to know if they read the fucking email.
Oh,
But
brother.
no, I was actually gonna change my email name, but work.
You have no idea who
I
they're
was gonna change it to Alex Bergeron.
Oh, fuck.
That's that would have been a good one.
That would have been good.
Yeah.
I have a group question again. Because I get this question a lot as well, and with the three of us here, with two guys I would consider very top guys, and then myself, who's pretty close up there, I would say. It's always what makes us good race car drivers. What makes you a good race car driver? Like, is there what do you think gave you the potential? Like, obviously, people can put in the amount of laps, any amount of laps that they want, and sometimes some people just can't ever get to the high level that all three of us have been able to get up to. Like, what do you think? Is it like just a natural talent? Like, what's your answer?
I think it's age. I don't know of any older people fast on here.
Hey, Travis
I
St.
think
Clair. Well, he's not. I don't.
Oh,
Travis, if you're watching,
Hey,
you're not
Dylan
old. You're
Wilson's
just one of the older ones. You're not one of the older ones,
Dylan
Travis.
Wilson's been
You're.
racing. So listen, Dylan Wilson started like 6 years before me.
Yeah, he's old.
So that fucker's
Not
been on here
old.
a decade and
He's
a half.
not old, but
Dude,
he's
Dylan Wilson's been sim
probably
racing as long as I've been alive.
he's the oldest in Pro Series now.
So you think it's
Dylan
the
Wilson-
age, and is that because of the
I
amount
really
of
do,
laps
I
that
really
you can
do.
put in at that young age
On a
with nothing else to
computer.
do?
I think it's a
Computer
time
game
thing.
with age. Oh,
I
I know
think
a lot
it's
of
a
people.
time.
I know a lot of people with a lot of time that cannot make a fucking
That's
lap.
what I was getting
is
at.
true.
Like, what
But, like,
makes
I've
us
been around-
different?
I've been around.
And
it.
honestly, you got to surround yourself with winners. If you're not around a winner, you're not going to be a winner. So if you want to go That's why you will never catch Blake and Evan in a like an open Discord. You ain't going in an open Discord where you can just have access to talk to them. Those fuckers be locked away in a key and you ain't gonna find it. Like
I got
if
kicked
you want
from
to
the
be
CFM Discord actually.
if you want to be a winner, you need to hang around winners. Whether it's
Yeah.
whether you're bottom split, if
You
the
need
dude
to.
in-
That's
You need to surround yourself people that are better than you.
That's
In
what
order
got
to
me
get to the
good.
top, you have to
Right,
be with the guy that's better than you all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why I think like Nathan, like because I can race Nathan as hard as I want, and I can control and race him like and move him around and do not like that, but we race hard together, and I could teach him like just the art of racing while we're racing, and that's one of the biggest things that you could learn, and that's like something you can't really teach.
yeah,
Like it's just
and-
like racecraft and like stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's where I think I always get. I feel like 110% out of my car always. I feel
Yeah.
like I can make up like
Getting the
if
most
it's
out of
on
your
a
car.
cushion. I feel like I could get the most out of a car on the cushion over anybody. Like,
Hayden
I
though,
feel like-
Hayden Cardwell, that dude can roll a
well, me
fucking
and Hayden
cushion.
are real close. We either
Yeah.
wreck it or win it. That's real close.
Yeah,
So
100%.
Hayden's definitely a little more ballsier than me on the cushion for sure.
He's
Hayden's
definitely-
nuts on a wall.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but he was
that's-
more nuts in a sprint car on the wall.
I've seen it. I've seen it. It's the he
It's
was
his Wi-Fi.
he was for
Why-
sure
Well, no, people used to say he had a
lag switch,
toggle.
like a lag
Toggle.
switch kind
Yeah.
of thing.
I don't
Like
know what the fuck it was of the toggle.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
they
It's
said
like
he
a
had a
lag
toggle.
switch.
I
yeah,
can imagine the way he
Oh.
was dominating
Dude.
races that he would get
Yeah.
accused of all sorts of different ways of cheating, like putting 6
It's just
seconds
like-
on
it's-
Evan at.
It's the same thing in anything.
Lernerville?
Like you have a guy that's
Yeah.
dominating,
Yeah.
you're gonna.
I
think
ran
he's
fucking
cheating.
7th on the same setup. I'm like,
Yeah, that's I watched that just the other day. It's crazy, like just
Yeah.
how, and it comes back to the original question
that's
of
all
like
about being
how,
out front.
but it comes back
Being
to
out
my
front is
original
everything.
question of like what makes Hayden so good? What makes us so good? Like, is it just the amount of laps that he put in, or is he just a naturally
Hayden
gifted?
never turned a ton of laps. Hayden never turned a ton of laps.
So it's a natural
Hayden-
gift, is what you're
yeah,
saying.
I mean definitely because I mean to an extent. But if somebody doesn't send Hayden a setup, Hayden doesn't learn what the fuck. So
Well, I mean, we all have to have a
It
setup
takes
to
it-
be pretty good. If
it
you're
takes-
racing against guys that do have
if
setups,
you're gonna be good on this game, you gotta have all the right pieces.
yeah, for sure.
Straight up. You
I
gotta
know.
have the setup, the spotter. Dude, when I used to have a spotter full time, like JC Floyd was my spotter forever. Dude, there was one time we won so much fucking money in like 2-3 weeks. Like, it was a lot of fucking money. It was like a couple thousand probably. Like 200 here, 200 there, 300 there. And we used to break up some fucking money. And if you don't have a spotter, like a guy you trust that's like, hey, clear up. Or like just a guy that watch lap times. A good spotter isn't a guy that's going to clear you up and do that shit. It's a guy that's going to be looking throughout the field to see where this guy's running. And if he's faster. That's a good spotter. It's not about just clearing me up and
So
3, 2,
Yeah.
1. Go.
you won a lot of
Fine,
money with him as your spotter. Did you split it with him? Any other money? 'Cause, I mean, he was spotting.
He used to always give me shit and tell me to split. I'm like, oh, like, you drive this car, I'll spot. We'll be broke.
But you talk about going on like these streaks of like winning a lot of money, and I did think of this earlier about how like sometimes, and this is not a knock at all, but I do feel like sometimes you're streaky where like even like I run a decent amount of officials, and I know you do as well. Like it seems like sometimes there's officials where you're just fucking unbeatable. And then there's sometimes where you're just up there in the top 3 like normal, but you're not your usual like dominating self. What is that? What do you think is the attribute to that?
When you hit on something really good, you don't fucking change it. But I never look to be even. So if I'm like even, I'll test. And if it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. I don't give a fuck. Every official I run nowadays, I probably test them. Like always, whether it's just a small shock change or a spring change or a ride height change, I'm always testing because if you don't, you'll never get ahead. Like you'll just always be there. And I hate testing offline. I'd rather test in a race. Straight up, I'd rather test in a race.
Yeah, I mean, I don't test, but
Yeah,
like
it's hard
if I'm
to
gonna make
test.
laps, I'd rather race
Yeah.
against somebody to make laps. You know what I mean?
Right. And you can really get a better feel of it while you're
Mhm.
racing. What it's gonna do in traffic. Cause a lot of times I go out there, but like everybody can build a fucking setup in clean air. Like, go get one that drives well behind somebody. I used to build a lot of setups tight as fuck, and you can never drive behind nobody. And I've been like freeing these things up a little. So.
Waiting for Nathan.
Oh, are you gonna? You
Test
think
something.
I'm gonna say something about dirty air or something?
No.
Oh, then what?
No, dirty, dude. So one time,
What were
so
you
one time I
wanting,
beat-
Kiefer? What were you
so,
wanting?
hold on. So one time I beat Majulis at the Kokomo, and this fucker gets on the interview and he's like, "Yeah, we were just in dirty air all race." I'm like,
There ain't no dirty air on
Oh,
iRacing, bro. Especially not at
Dude,
Kokomo.
I was like, what?
Especially not at Kokomo.
This is what I wanted Nathan to say. Yeah, having a setup that you can race with.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Well,
it's
like
tough to
I've
have both though, because you got to be so fucking tight sometimes to be
Yeah.
fast.
Yes.
But then
But-
you got to be free enough
You
to
got to
move
be able to
around.
race. You got to be able to race.
I told
At the end of the day, you have to be able to race.
I've
Yeah. If
told
you get out
this
front with that tight setup, you're gonna be a-okay.
I've
But
told
you-
this a lot.
If
like
you don't start on the pole, why are you running it?
I've
That's
told
how if you can't.
I've
gotta
told
be able
this
to drive
story
in
a
traffic.
But
lot.
even start
Like
on full stuff.
like whenever I was first getting into the open setup stuff, I was on Ryko and I was running Zach McSwain's sets, and Zach's sets were stupid fucking tight. They were really fast.
I taught Zach how to build a setup.
Right, but
They're fucking
then
tight.
once I left
So
Ryko
proud.
and then Apex was forming and Kiefer sent me his sets, I was like, holy shit, this thing's loose, but it turns, it's fast, it just turns, and
tried
it
the
was
fuck
so
out
much
of it.
more maneuverable, and I loved it. And so
That's why I'm
yeah,
struggling on this build. I'm struggling on this build being too tight. 'Cause I've always like
Yeah.
just tightened the fuck out of them to where you could drive it straight. And now
Yeah.
like you tighten up so much and you lift and it just goes to the moon. I'm like,
yeah,
We-
I had to.
We figured out a decent balance now. I like it now, but like
I feel like I've learned a lot the last, which I've only really been back like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, just testing and grinding again.
I know
feel
about a
I
tight
feel like
car,
I'm
bro.
fucked up.
Did
Dude,
you
if
see
I had
that-
the setup I got now for the spring fling, they'd be fucking loud traffic.
Well,
Dude, if I had the setup I had now, I'd string.
The fling
you'd
was
have
like-
won it. You'd have won it, but like,
the
we
fling
all
was like
learned so
2
much.
weeks. Yeah, the fling was like what, a week after the build
Yeah.
update. Like
That's what I'm
yeah.
saying. We all learned so much. I was actually scared. I thought Dylan Wilson was going to come out there and smack us. Because
Yeah.
they were all saying he was a
He
big
wasn't even
test
there
and
though,
shit.
was he?
I know. Well, I was like, I didn't see this fucker test not once. I didn't see him in a server.
But you were
I
still
didn't-
worried.
I'm like, he's not showing nobody nothing. 'Cause a lot of
Ah.
times, you go out there and show these guys a 10th. If I go out there and show Evan C a 10th, that
he's gonna
motherfucker
go look and find a 10th.
He's not
that
gonna-
motherfucker's not gonna sleep till he
Yeah,
finds it.
I was about to say that.
He's not
He ain't
gonna
gonna
sleep.
Yep.
Just like me, if Blake shows me a 10th, I'm not sleeping. If there's a money race coming up and you show me a 10th, I'm gonna fucking work till I got a 10th and a quarter or a 10th and a half.
Yeah.
Well,
That's how it is.
speaking of money races coming up, I mean, we already talked about it a little bit, but the Fall Frenzy was announced today, or the signups were open today. I'm assuming you signed up for that, Dylan.
Yeah, I'm always a late entry.
But
Always.
you are going to sign up. You're going to be there.
Yeah.
And we talked
be there.
about, they didn't announce the track yet. This race is coming up in like a week and a half. What?
They told me the track. Let me spill it to everybody.
All right, so don't do that. But I am curious, what track do you hope it's at? We had Kokomo for the spring fling. I know you love Knoxville and Charlotte. I know you're great at every track, but what track do you hope it's at? And I want Kiefer's answer as well.
Let's just go Kokomo again. It did so well last time. Let's just do Kokomo again.
Fuck, that's one I don't want.
And let's get Jordan Casey back, and let's get Flatten up there. And like, nah, honestly,
Trophy Dash. Ryan Flatten, Jordan
Oh.
Casey.
I don't know. I don't care. Fuck Charlotte, Knoxville, Eldora. Somewhere big. Somewhere where
If it was up to you, where would it be?
I want to see a bigger Knoxville. I'd love to go to Knoxville.
I think it'd be good to go back to Knoxville. They haven't ran one of the big
Yeah.
races since the 2021 spring fling there.
You remember that?
What do you think, Kiefer?
I qualified second in the 2021.
Flipped running sixth.
I remember that.
Dude,
Looked like you grip
were
flipped,
Hang on,
too.
one second. Give me 1 second. I'm on the phone. 1 second. I seen it.
bad.
1 second. All right, like 30 minutes. All right, bye.
You're good.
Yeah,
I don't know, dude.
I started
Knoxville.
fucking 15th in that race. Drove to 6th on lap 20.
And then you
Flipped
grip
it.
flipped.
Towed to the pits. Repaired. Went back to 6th. Under green.
And that was another spring fling that was right after a huge update. That was
Yeah,
whenever
no,
we got
so,
the
1 year. So
tire
listen,
update.
1 year me and Austin Carr were Florida buddies. We test together, do shit together. So 1 year me and him, we start 1 and 2 in the spring fling, first and second teammates. And dude, we run out of fuel leading.
Oh fuck. No way.
Hey, it's like fucking 22 to go, and he looks down at the fuel tank like, bro, we got 3 gallons. Dude, we're checked the fuck out. It was the year Tyler Hudson won on the bottom. So we literally had to back
Knoxville.
up and save. So we had to back up and save a ton of fuel. We had to bite us in the ass.
So what's your answer, Keith? Where do you hope the fall frenzy is at? I mean, are you even planning on running it, homie?
Yeah, you'd run.
I don't know, dude. Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
I don't know. Knoxville's great and all, I hate Knoxville because if they post Knoxville, you have to grind.
Yeah, Knoxville stuff.
I love
Like
Knoxville.
that's the only bad thing about Knoxville. Eldora, it's Eldora. Now it's pound the wall.
Yeah, I don't know if Eldora probably wouldn't be fun, but
Charlotte
Charlotte actually races.
Charlotte wouldn't be bad if it was set up right.
They haven't been there in a while. They haven't been there in a while. Let's hope they come out a new track soon. Fuck.
Let's
Well,
go Kern
Let's
County.
go to Kern.
Fuck no, bro.
Dude,
Kern
that
is
place race
too.
so bad.
It's
the
too
mini,
narrow,
the mini
bro.
track. The
Oh
mini track.
fuck me.
Well, we're supposed to get micros next build, so that's why when y'all were saying updates late models, I don't see them updating shit because they're coming out with
Nah,
micros.
man.
They're supposed
They
to.
ain't
They
updating nothing.
talked about like a potential update on the tire again. That's not like an update for the late models, but
It's just a little adjustment, really. Yeah.
Micros will be fun though. I could see all these late model guys going to, and you're gonna get every 12-year-old come
Mhm.
here to fucking South Africa with iRacing in the micro class. And
all them
it's gonna be fucking
California,
wild.
all them California
Yeah.
kids are finally gonna have a reason to want to
Hopefully,
get on.
hopefully
Yeah.
they get on and then we could just wreck them.
Yeah,
I'll be
You're-
a micro demon.
Dude,
those kids spend some money though.
I
Love those kids.
I hope that the Fall Frenzy is at Knoxville. That's my vote. I love Knoxville.
I
It's-
love Knoxville.
like literally.
It really separates people that get hit bottom because everybody can blow it off in there at fucking Eldora and hit the top.
Yeah.
But you go in there and hit the bottom of Knoxville, you gotta woe it down. Use like, not engine braking, but like, you send it off on the bottom too fast, you're just gonna blow it off the bottom.
Right.
I love
You
the
got to be able to
bottom.
catch
That's why I
that
like
little
the
bit of
bottom.
grip.
I love the
And
bottom.
I said
Yeah.
this the other day on stream.
Except when it's
Running
muddy.
running the top
Don't hate it.
running the top at
top
Knoxville
at Knoxville.
is so rewarding. It's so
Yeah.
difficult. At least to me, it's very difficult. But to hit it and to hit it good, and it's not like
Especially now,
overpowered.
especially without
It's so
flipping.
much fun, dude. It's so much fun. That's why I
Dude,
really
I
hope
put
it's
all
there.
four tires. I put all 4 tires in the fluff last night in a heat race, and it was like 4/10 faster in the leaders, and they all moved up the first lap, and they were like, "We're even now." But it was like, I went off into one and blew by like 3 people's doors. It was nuts.
I think the fact that it's so flat and so big, it allows it to be very multi-groove. I mean, people talk shit about last build, but like I feel like Knoxville still raced very well on the last build at like in late
Oh, it
models at
did.
least, in supers, and I love Knoxville, bro. I love Knoxville. It's one of my
No, I
favorites.
love Knoxville. Yeah.
I know you love
But-
Knoxville. I mean, like every race
Dude,
I've ever
every
seen.
spring fling, that spring fling was crazy. So I was staying with Bloomquist at the time in Tennessee. I literally flew home just to race it 'cause I didn't have a rig there. So I flew home, raced it, and then flew back to Tennessee. And Zach McSwain helped me out on the setup for that one.
Good
I
old
wasn't
Zach.
aligned. I was working. Me and Zach were always buddies.
How about that?
But yeah,
I was part of that too. No,
that was a wild little. Yeah, I think
that was
we-
2 years. I was.
Dude, I'll never
Dude,
forget. I jumped on
You
this fucking
qualified.
thing.
You won the. Didn't you win the heat race? No.
Yeah, I won my.
You won the heat race on the
uh,
fucking rail set, dude.
yeah,
I know,
yeah.
or cut down qual or whatever.
Dude, I've always had good runs in the fling. Besides
the fling's
flipping and
tough.
running out of gas, dude, that's the toughest race to win.
It's definitely tough, but it shows a lot that you can consistently show up and
Yeah.
run well in that race that pays so much.
I started outside pole that race 3 out of the last 4 years. That's not fucking easy to do.
Yeah, that's definitely tough.
Not when the competition's as high as it is, and like even back then, like 2019, dude, there was like John Fiddler, Zach Rounds, Fields was really good, Wilson was good, Leonardi was good, dude. It was like you showed up to fucking fight because it was a
Fox.
dog fest.
It wasn't easy.
Dylan Fox was an animal at Knoxville during 2020. That fucker won the race by like 5 seconds.
That was
could beat him all
2019.
week.
That was 2019.
Was it? Yeah. So 2018's the year I ran out of gas, and next year he did that. Nobody could beat that fucker. All week long, I'm like, dude, he's gonna fuck around and show too much. Like, you beat us all week. Dude, we worked, and we could not get close. We were like a half tenth off, always.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
he actually was a bit of. I think it was a little bit disappointing. I know it was probably disappointing for him. I expected him to do a little bit better in the actual Pro Series this year.
Yeah. It's tough, though, man.
It is
Fuck.
tough. It's,
I think back then he was a
Time and
little
everything.
Back then he was a little younger. He was out on summer break. He could test a lot.
at all.
Now he's
that time.
older. Probably got a girlfriend, a wife, who'd have kid. You never know nowadays.
People are saying Port Royal. I definitely don't want Port
I would
Royal.
not want to.
No.
Port Royal would end up being top dominant by about lap 20, and if they carried it over,
I don't want
to
another
start
short
top
track
dominant.
though, dude.
I don't think I
every
want
time
another
I'm at a
short track either.
Dude, every time I'm at a short track in a big race, and I'm like, these fuckers behind me are just gonna send me because that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't. At least in Knoxville, it's like fast enough you can get away from somebody.
Yeah, this is true. There's
Where
separation.
Kokomo is like 1/10 at Kokomo is like a wheel. Where at Knoxville, 1/10 at Knoxville is a car lane.
Yeah.
Right.
Big difference there. 1/10. So you can get wheeled at Kokomo pretty easy.
I like having the big races at the bigger tracks. Like that's why it really
Right.
surprised me whenever they went to Kokomo. But I think I
It'll
understand
probably
it
be
now.
Fairbury though. It'd probably be Fairbury where they're gonna have this fucker. Fall
Dude.
Brawl, Fairbury, just sounds right.
Please no.
I mean, you got a
Not
good
Fairbury.
point.
Fall Brawl's up Fairbury.
No. We're
I'm
not doing
sure.
it. It's Falls Frenzy. Falls Frenzy. is what it
Yeah.
is.
Well, Kiefer, you got anything else for Hauser? That's all I've got.
I think that's it for tonight.
Is that it?
It's been a
Well,
long one.
yeah, it definitely
go
has.
on.
But you've been a great guest, Dylan. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much
Thank you, guys.
for coming through. And I'm sure I'll be seeing you out on the track. And if not, I'll definitely see you at the Fall Frenzy.
You'll definitely see me at the Fall Brawl. Or we
Fall
brawl.
Brawl, not Frenzy, idiot.
It's the Frenzy. I'm like 90%
No,
sure.
I just said Falls Frenzy.
It's the Fall Frenzy. I'm pretty sure. But regardless,
I just said that.
Should be
Shut
the
up.
Fall
You're an
Brawl.
idiot.
Should be the Fall Brawl.
It's the Fall Brawl.
either
They
one.
literally fumbled that. They fumbled that. That should be the Fall Brawl.
Either one.
That's the race. That's a real race that goes on this time of year.
I'm literally gonna look this up now before
No, it's Fall
No.
Frenzy. It's Fall Frenzy.
fucking.
But it was great having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, bro.
No problem.
Yeah,
I'll see you
appreciate
guys eventually, and I appreciate it. And
See you around.
good luck. I'll
All
share the podcast. Appreciate it, guys. Later.
Thanks.
See ya.
Wow, what a guest, bro. That
Wow.
was definitely incredible. What a great episode.
It was a good one.
It was
I
definitely.
never fixed. Well, I don't be respected.
Do what?
Sorry.
You
I be
good?
respectful. Yeah, we're good now.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's wow, dude. That's always one of the main concerns whenever not the concern, but one of the questions that I wonder whenever we have a guest on is how talkative they're going to be. But I was not worried about that with Hauser. I knew he was going to definitely be able to talk a lot and give some interesting answers and some interesting perspectives. So that was a great time.
It was truly great and amazing experience that we shared together.
Am I hyping it up too much? Is that what you're getting at?
No, I'm kind of hungry now.
You're kind of hungry.
Now I'm like,
I think-
he's gone. I'm thinking about what I'm going to eat. So like that's kind of like
Yeah,
what
I'm kind of
I'm
hungry
thinking
too.
about.
So
And I think Rocket League's calling my name.
yeah, I think Hannah's calling you and me to
He's
play
calling
Rocket
me.
League.
Yeah.
So I think that'll about wrap it up for this week's episode of the Plum Wild podcast. Thanks.
It's been real.
It's been a great episode. Thanks everyone for tuning in.
It's not.
What?
Rocket worth playing.
Oh no, definitely wasted time. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, everybody. We will see y'all in the next episode, likely next week, but maybe 2 weeks from now. But yeah, thank you all so much, and we'll see y'all in the next one.